strengthening that of the United States. In 1944, representatives from 44 countries met in New Hampshire, USA, and established the Bretton Woods system. Under this arrangement, the US dollar became the center of the international monetary system. The dollar was backed by gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce, while other currencies were linked to the dollar. Because the United States possessed the largest gold reserves and the strongest economy at the time, many countries trusted the dollar. Although President Richard Nixon ended the direct convertibility of dollars into gold in 1971, the dollar retained its dominance because governments, businesses, and investors continued to trust the American economy and financial institutions. The dollar as the world's reserve currency. One of the primary reasons the dollar controls the world economy is its status as the world's reserve currency. A reserve currency is a foreign currency held by central banks as part of their official reserves. These reserves help countries pay for imports, stabilize exchange rates, and manage economic crises. Today, most countries hold a significant portion of their reserves in US dollars. Central banks prefer dollars because they are highly liquid, widely accepted, and supported by a large and relatively stable economy. For example, China holds hundreds of billions of dollars in reserves. Japan maintains large dollar reserves. Saudi Arabia keeps significant dollar assets. Many African countries also store reserves in dollars. Because countries need dollars for international transactions, demand for the currency remains consistently high. International trade and dollar dependency. The US dollar plays a central role in international trade. A large percentage of global trade transactions are invoiced and settled in dollars. Many important commodities are priced in dollars, including oil, gold, natural gas, wheat, coffee, copper, iron ore. This means that countries often need dollars even when trading with partners outside the United States. For example, if Tanzania imports oil from Saudi Arabia, payment is usually made in US dollars. Similarly, if Brazil sells soybeans to China, the transaction may still be priced in dollars. This system forces governments and businesses around the world to maintain access to dollars. Consequently, the currency remains at the center of global commerce. The petrodollar system. The petrodollar system is one of the most important pillars of dollar dominance. Following the oil crisis of the 1970s, the United States developed close economic relationships with major oil-producing nations, particularly Saudi Arabia. Oil exports were largely priced and sold in dollars. As a result, 1. Countries needed dollars to buy oil. 2. Oil-exporting nations accumulated dollars. 3. Those dollars were often invested in American banks and financial markets. Because oil is essential for transportation, manufacturing, and electricity generation, nearly every country must participate in the dollar-based oil market. The petrodollar system significantly increased worldwide demand for dollars and reinforced the currency's international position. Global banking and financial markets. Another reason for dollar dominance is the size and importance of American financial markets. The United States possesses the world's largest stock market, one of the largest banking systems, deep and liquid bond markets, highly developed financial institutions, global banking and financial markets. Another reason for dollar dominance is the size and importance of American financial markets. The United States possesses the world's largest stock market, one of the largest banking systems, deep and liquid bond markets, highly developed financial institutions. The role of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, commonly known as the Fed, is the central bank of the United States. Its monetary policy decisions affect not only the United States, but also the entire world. When the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, investors move money into dollar assets. Demand for dollars increases, other currencies may weaken. Borrowing becomes more expensive in many countries. When the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates, investors may seek opportunities elsewhere. Global liquidity increases. Developing countries may receive more investment. Thus, decisions made by the Federal Reserve can influence economic conditions across continents. Economic sanctions and dollar power. the United States can use the dollar as a geopolitical tool through economic sanctions. Because many international transactions pass through the American financial system, the US government can restrict access to dollar-based transactions. Countries that have faced major sanctions include Iran, Russia, North Korea, Venezuela. When a country is denied access to dollar markets, it becomes more difficult to conduct international trade, receive foreign investment, access global banking services, purchase certain goods and technologies. This demonstrates how dollar dominance can translate into political influence. Benefits of dollar dominance for the United States. The global demand for dollars provides several advantages to the United States. 1. Cheaper borrowing. Because investors around the world trust US government bonds, the United States can borrow money at relatively low interest rates. 2. Increased global influence. Dollar dominance strengthens America's position in international negotiations and foreign policy. 3. Economic stability. Global demand for dollars helps support the value of the currency and reduces financial instability. 4. Ability to run trade deficits. The United States can import more goods than it exports because the world continuously demands dollars. 5. Attraction of foreign investment. Investors from around the world place money in American markets, creating jobs and supporting economic growth. Impact on developing countries. Dollar dominance has significant consequences for developing nations. Many countries borrow money in dollars because international lenders prefer dollar-denominated loans. However, problems arise when local currencies weaken. For example, a government borrows $1 billion. The local currency loses value. Repayment becomes more expensive. This situation has contributed to debt crises in several developing countries. Countries in Africa, Latin America, and Asia often face economic pressure when the dollar becomes stronger. Dollar strength and global inflation. Changes in the value of the dollar can influence inflation worldwide. When the dollar strengthens, imports become more expensive for many countries. Fuel prices may rise, food prices may increase. Foreign debt becomes harder to repay. When the dollar weakens, international trade may become easier. Commodity prices often increase, exporting countries may benefit. Therefore, fluctuations in the dollar affect billions of people around the world. When the dollar weakens, international trade may become easier. Commodity prices often increase, exporting countries may benefit. Therefore, fluctuations in the dollar affect billions of people around the world. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have discussed alternatives to dollar-based trade systems, digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies and new payment technologies may gradually reduce reliance on traditional dollar transactions. Nevertheless, replacing the dollar remains difficult because no other currency currently offers the same combination of liquidity, trust, and global acceptance. Although alternative currencies may gain influence, the transition away from the dollar would likely take many years or even decades. Conclusion: the US dollar is one of the most powerful instruments of global influence in modern history. Its role as the world's reserve currency, its dominance in international trade, its importance in financial markets, and its connection to global banking systems give the United States significant economic and political power. While emerging economies and new technologies may challenge dollar dominance in the future, the US dollar remains the foundation of the international monetary system and continues to play a central role in shaping the global economy. Will the US dollar maintain its global dominance, or will BRICS change the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.